Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss about constructors and methods and also the difference between constructors and methods. Right. So we know methods. So class is collection of data and methods. So first we will see methods and then we will come to the constructor part. So within class we are writing data and methods. So class is collection of data and methods. So what's the signature? How to write this method? So just like a function in C, we are writing methods here. So how we are writing functions in C? With the type, return type and the name of the function, and within the parenthesis we are writing parameter list. Open the brace and write down the code, and finally if your function is returning any value, then finally return the value, then close your brace. So this is the method. So what you are writing here, the first thing is return type. So what return type indicates? If you are returning any value to the calling function, then that we will write here. For example, I am performing addition of two numbers, then after that I am returning that addition value. So if it is an integer value, I should write the return type as integer. The name I am taking as add, and I am performing addition of two numbers. So I am taking the two parameters int a comma int b. So this is the signature for this function. Right. So this is a class box with the three data members, width, height and depth. I'm just writing a method value with the return type void, and it doesn't have any parameters. Now what it is doing, it is simply finding the value of the box by multiplying these three values. So within this method, I'm just printing the value as the multiplication of these three values. So this is about a method. So the methods are two types. One is a method without argument. So just now we have seen in this method we are not taking any parameters, without arguments, and a parameterized method. That means a method will take parameters. See, this is an example for without parameters and this is an example for with parameter. So I want to find addition of two particular numbers, then I should pass the two numbers as parameters. For example, I just want to display some message, then I don't want to pass anything here, then empty parenthesis, that is no parameters. So based on the requirement, we use a method without parameters, a method with parameters. And next, the purpose of the method may be anything. It may be assignment or it may be for calculating something. But coming to the constructor, so constructor is also a special method, a special member function, but here we have some conditions for the constructor. So constructor name is same as the class name. If it is a method, we don't have any conditions, we can keep any name for the method. But if it is a constructor, the name of the constructor should be same as the class name. I will tell you why we need to use the same as the class name. See, these are the important properties for a constructor. The basic definition for constructor is it is a special member function. So it is also a member function. It is also a special method. It is a special member function. It is syntactically similar to a method. Yes, it has the same name as its class name. For example, if I write a class A, here I should write the constructor name as A. It is same as your class name. Then it is written without any return type, the default return type of a class even. That means generally if you don't return anything for a method, we used to write void. But for constructor, we should not write any return type including void also. Why we are not writing any return type for constructor? In the sense, the purpose of the constructor is not solving for any task. So generally, why we write return type for a method? For example, add of int a comma int b. So the purpose of this method is to perform addition. So after performing addition, I am getting some result. So I should return this result. So that's why I am writing the return type as integer. So if the function is having any particular task, then it will solve the task and it will get the result and it will return that result. But here the purpose of constructor is not to solve anything. It is only used to assign the values to your data members. That means within your class, if you have any data items, to assign values for those data items, we use constructor. But within constructor we are not supposed to perform any addition, subtraction or multiplication, any type of operation we are not going to perform, only assignment. So assignment will not take any return type, that's why we are not even writing void also. And so constructor is also like, we have two types of constructors, one is without parameters and with parameters. Okay, why we are using same name as class name? So generally if it is a method, we should call that method. If we don't call that method will not be executed, as we discussed earlier. But constructor, we are not going to call that directly. At the time of object declaration, AOB is equal to new A. So we have seen the syntax for object declaration. So after new, you are writing something, as this parenthesis indicates it's a method, but here we are writing a class name. So a method which is having the same name as class name, which you are calling as constructor. That means at the time of object creation, you are creating a constructor, you are calling a constructor. So the call to the constructor, we are not writing specifically. At the time of object creation, this will be called automatically. But if it is a method, you should call it specifically. So that's why the name of the constructor should be same as your class name. So for example, if I don't write any constructor in my program, so I told you that we have two types of constructor, one is parameterized and default. But if we don't write any constructor in my program, the default constructor will be added. So I will show you with one example. Okay. So along with this, we will take one more class, A. Then here I am taking two data members, A and B. Then I'm not writing any constructor, simply I am displaying A and B values. So system.out.println A is equal to plus A and B is equal to plus B. Then I am closing this method, I am closing this class. Now default constructor. So I am writing DC. Now what I am doing, I am just creating an object for this class. And see, if you observe here, you are calling the constructor. But we are not writing any constructor in my program. Now we'll see what happens. ob.disp. Yes, disp is a method, so I should call that. See, I am not initializing any values to A and B, but directly I am trying to print A and B. Now we will see what is the output we will get. So here we have two classes, right? So now there is a confusion to save your file name. So as main function is available in DC class, OS needs main class name. That's why we need to save this class name, file name as dc.java. It should be same as your class name, including cases, whether it is uppercase or lowercase. dc.java, then java space dc. See, I am getting A and 0, B as 0. So who is assigning A and B to 0? That is done by the default constructor, which is added by the Java system. So we are not writing any constructor. If we don't write any constructor, then the system will add a default constructor which will assign the values to default values. The integer default value is 0, double default value is 0.0, and the character default value is empty character, right? Now we will write our own constructor whose name is same as class name, which doesn't have any return type, and the purpose is to assign values. Okay, so now that's it. Here also you are calling the constructor, right? This will call this constructor which will assign A to 10 and B to 20. Now if we try to compile and execute this, I am getting A as 20, B as 30. Now this is default constructor which is written by the user. Now we will write the parameterized constructor. So I just want to write assign my own values. So now x value will be assigned to A and y value will be assigned to B. So this is the constructor, right? So and this is the constructor call. In this call it is expecting two integer parameters. So what I am doing, I am passing two integer parameters 20 and 30. So at the time of calling you should pass those two values. Right. So now whatever the values we are passing, those will be printed here. So this is about parameterized constructor. So if we observe the differences between a method and a constructor, we can frame some 4 to 5 differences here. So if it is a method and constructor, so name may be anything, name anything, but here the name will be same as class name. And coming to return type, based on the return value, but here no return type including void also. Next, so why we are writing return type here? Why? Because the purpose of the method is to solve something, but here the purpose is only to assign the values to data members. And explicitly should call by the user. But here we are not calling explicitly. At the time of object creation, constructor will be called automatically. So these are the main differences between a method and constructor. So with this, I am closing this video and thank you.